So hi guys, welcome to stage 49, the rear beacon lights and roof section. Now technically this is the last stage of this pack, making 6 sections. Because this is going to be quite a complex section, and they've then tacked on another section at the end which they've given no number for, and the fact that the first stage of this pack had nothing to do. I'm going to be splitting this stage into 2. So this is going to be stage 49, the rear beacon lights and roof section. And then in the next video, I'm going to call it section 40 or issue 49A, which is actually going to be the connecting the cab, midsection and truck. And we've got a surprise for you in the next issue. So let's see how I get on. So hi guys, welcome to stage 49. These are the parts that we've got, and we've got a collection of small fiddly parts, and we've got this big part which is obviously a roof. I don't think we need much to figure that one out, do we? So let's come on a bit of cardboard. Let's put it on the cardboard. So I'm going to call that the first piece of this section, although it's actually listed as the last. So let's go through the rest of the parts. So if you remember, we've got one position on the circuit board that we haven't got a connector for. So this is the last connector that we're going to make for this issue. And this is the rear beacon light PCB times 2. And there are actually, there's 2 of them. I was expecting 1. Okay, maybe I miscounted. So what we've got here is 2 rear beacon lights, and you see there's a prop, what I call a prop LED bulb on there. So be careful with those because they might get knocked off quite easily. So next we've got, this is kind of cute. This is really cute. Although it's plastic, this is a blanket. And it's actually got some nice detail on it. I'm almost tempted to put a little wash on that just to bring that detail out. Don't know if you can see the detail. That's really nice. It's a little bit shiny though for my liking. I don't think a blanket would be that shiny. But you know, I could always put matte varnish over the top. I've also got, nearly lost them, rear beacon light covers times 2. And they're the emergency lights that you would associate with a fire truck, aren't they? So we'll put those there. So next we've got 3 lots of screws next. So let's get the screw box out. So in no particular order, we've got B-type screws, of which we've got 2. And I have got 2 screws there. So they go in before they get lost. I'll just keep those bags just in case. Next we've got M screws, and there should be 2, and as you can see I've got 2, so there we are, they can go into there. And lastly we've got we've got D screws, and we've got 9 of those. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there are 9 there. So I'm going to look forward to that, because the only time I've used D screws, they haven't actually fitted properly and we've had to glue them in. So there we go. Right, so that's my screws over there ready. We'll put the bags over there. So let's look at the first stage. So first of all, we need to take one of the beacon light PCBs and feed the plug end through the hole in the top of the rear right compartment. So checking these reflectors, get our piece of cloth so that we don't scratch it. We'll put that down there like so. So PCB wire, get that carefully out, don't want to damage anything. So what we need to do then is, let me have a closer look. So it's gone for this side first. So we've got a hole here, and I'm sorry, let me move the camera, that'll be a bit easier, won't it? So we've got this hole there, so we need to feed that in there like so, and then that then goes through that hole there, just like we did with the rear cluster lights. I don't want to put this on the ground because I don't want to knock that reflector. This is hard to do. Right, let's see if I can push the rear light cluster to one side. Now, I'm a little bit concerned now because we've got the cupboard in on the other side. There we go, that's gone through lovely. Right, so feed that in. Pull that through. Continue to feed the plug back out through the opening in the bottom left corner. Oh no. Right, so have we got the wrong side? Right, so, right, okay, so ignore that. I'm going to continue to feed this through. I don't know how much wire we need to pull through. It doesn't seem to make that obvious. So I'm going to pull almost all of it, so we can pull it back or we can pull it forwards. Now, I can see why they've done it this way, but it makes it awkward. So we need to turn this over and I'm going to use my screw pots. Right, my beacon lights are going flying because I'm moving things around. So I'm going to move those beacon lights out of the way. So I'm going to make a little stand. So this cupboard, we can kind of see what's coming now. So we need to take this cupboard out, and I've got my camera positioned wrong. So we need, oh, and that's hinge is coming out. Look at that. There's a little rod going through that hinge. Ah, now that comes out easily. That's not too bad then. Right, so this needs to come out. And I'm guessing the reason we've put that in is so that we don't get it muddled up with this one. Even though these are different, like, maybe they've asked us to put it in so that they do remain different. So what we want to do now is take the other beacon light and exactly the same, thread that in through the top and then down through the side. Now on the other one I found it easier just to push these cluster lights and then push that through the gap. Oh, and it doesn't really want to play. So, whoa! I should probably have a better stand than this. Right, so again, I don't know how much to pull this wire through. It doesn't make it clear. So I'm going to leave about this much left over. Okay. And thread it through. Take the box frame section. Right. Now it's going to get complicated. So we now need, I think I'm going to need to just, yeah, let me get some masking tape. Remember the boxes that I taped on this side? I didn't tape these boxes. So I think it's going to be easier if I just tape those down. Otherwise, they're going to fly open and get in the way. And do this last one. There you go. They're not going anywhere now. Right, so we are now getting complicated. Right, so take the box frame roof section, which is this. I'm going to move the camera up so you can see more. Take the box frame and line it up with the rear of the truck as shown. The smooth side should face up. Push the LED on the end of the right hand PCB through the corner of the hole. Now I'm going to skip a little bit ahead to confirm what I think I already know. This is going to go on like this, right? And you can see that these bulbs are going to come through there. So we need to make sure that we flip this lid this way so that we can then put these into there. And then when we come to do it, what we'll probably end up doing is pulling this wire through from below until it's taut. Yeah, so there's no excess in there. So I've just had a little look at the instructions just to confirm, but this is soon going to get attached to this, and it's only going to be hanging on by a wire. So, where are we up to? Right, so push the LED on the end of the right hand PCB through the hole in the corner of the roof. So we've got this PCB, and I can see there's a screw hole there, and there's a hole there and a screw hole there. So that tells us that that's going to go in like that. Yeah, with the bulb sticking out on the top. And I'm hoping that the next step says get a screw. Perfect. Right, so the next step then is we need to take an M-type screw. And I think I'm going to do this. Remember a few stages ago when I screwed the light cluster in? I think it's going to be easier. No, it's not. Right, so if only I had some kind of a jig, but I'm not going to make a jig just for a part work. Right, I've just dropped the screw. Well, that was lucky. It actually landed point down on there. Right, so how is the best way to do this? If only I could secure... So that's going to move. Like you can see, like, as soon as I let go, that's going to move. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a piece of thinnish masking tape, and I'm just going to take a small piece off. Is that going to go? My masking tape has become stuck. Right, there we go. I'm going to take a small piece of masking tape, place it over the top of the PCB like this, away the other side of the hole, and I'm going to place that in there, and then I'm going to hold that down with the masking tape. You know, guys, I love my masking tape. Can you see now that that's like a third hand, and then I can position that. It doesn't help that this wire is in the way, and I'm going to screw that onto there like so. Don't screw too hard, because A, you're screwing into plastic, and B, you've got a PCB. If you screw too hard, you could thread the plastic and you could break the PCB. So there is, I can take that masking tape off now. Shall I be really stingy and reuse it on the next one? That's miserly to a new level, isn't it? Right, so there we go. We've got the PCB in there, and there's a little light exposed. And I think we know what's coming next. Yeah, repeat to fix the left-hand LED to the opposite side of the roof using another M-type screw. So this is going to go into there like so. And yeah, it's definitely going to be worthwhile using this masking tape. Most definitely. So it just holds it in place, just enough to be able to put that screw in. Hopefully I'm still on camera. Yes, I am. Right, so we get another M screw, like so. Again, I've said this before, normally the other part works, they give you spare screws. This one, I really don't know if they're giving us any screws, any spares, or if they're just giving us exactly enough, which is a problem, because if you should lose a screw, and I've lost screws before, you've got to pay £10 just to get a replacement screw. Right, so that's screwed in exactly the same way as the other one. So we remove that masking tape. That's in nice and firm. Neither of those are moving, and you can't see them because they're white, but there's two LED bulbs. So the next step then is to flip the roof over so that the pattern side faces up as you lower onto the box assembly, and that is the next step. So obviously I've left these too long. I didn't know how long to leave them. So as I feed this on, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the other end, whoops, which is there, and I'm just going to pull that so it's taut, and I'm going to do the same on the other side, just to get rid of any excess. You see, look, that's in there nice and taut. I love that word. Now I can actually see a channel which suggests to me that you want to, right, so there's a little channel there. So what we want to be doing is just tuck that wire into there. So I'm going to have to give more excess to this one. So we'll give that a little bit in there, and then we can push that wire into that channel and then pull that. Yeah, okay, this isn't playing in quite in the way that I want it to play. So push that down and pull this wire. We're going to actually have to push it in. There we go. So that's gone in nice, and that didn't explain that in the instructions, which is a little bit disappointing. Then we'll get our light cluster and we'll push that as flat against the wall as we can. There we go. I think that's as good as we're going to get it, but I would say that's a fairly neat job. And then we're going to do that on the other side. You see now why I'm splitting this into two sections. It's quite a lot to do. Right, so bring in some slack. That was the word I was looking for. And then I think we need to just, yeah, bring the light cluster wire to the front and the beacon light to the back. We can lift that up, we can push that in, and then we'll get our light cluster, and then we can push that as flat to the back as we can. There we go. I'm using blunt tweezers here. Blunt, you know, it's rounded, but anything soft will be fine. Right, I think that's in. I'm happy with that. So next thing we want to do is screw in the top of this, and we've got so many wires everywhere at the moment, so until we get this tidied up it's going to be a bit messy. Right, so we need D-type screws, and I think this is actually resting on a D-type screw box, which it is. So we are going to need in total 9 screws, and they are going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and on the other side 1, 2, 3 and 4. So what is the best way to do this? You know me, I like corners, so let's begin with 4 screws, 1 for each corner. And we'll do this one first. Make sure that's lining up. Have a little visual look. Can you see a screw hole? No for these two. So yes, 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 yes. Maybe, maybe. Right, let's go for it. It'll either go in or it won't. Oh, there is actually a screw hole there. Lovely. Right, so I might actually have to lift this up. Oh, it's these wires that are a bit of a problem. Right, so that's in. So next I'll go for the opposite corner. There's too much going on at the moment. Right, opposite corner, which is this one. And oh, that's going in lovely. That really did it's very hard to see the screw holes, so you don't even know if it's connecting with one, but in actual fact that's gone in beautiful. Right, so third one, I'm being aware of my reflectors. So third corner, that's gone in lovely. That is really nice. This is really coming together. I've had, most of the issues I've had is either the company or me. So I've not really, I mean, I've had a couple of fit issues, but I've got to be honest with you, I did think at one point of cancelling the build, but I'm going to be honest with you, I'm so glad I didn't. Now I've reached this stage, this is absolutely brilliant. So, right. So that's 4 of the screws in. Is that a magnet there? Right, so the next screw we've got, have I got this the right way round? No, I haven't. That's why it doesn't look right. So I was looking for a screw round about there, and because I had it the wrong way round, I couldn't find it. Right, so we'll do this middle screw there, and that'll just push that floor in a little bit. I think I might have the wrong screw head. Yeah, that's why I'm struggling. So you've got to get this in the position where you can screw it in well. Right, so that's, you know what, I'm going to change the screw heads because I think I've got the wrong one. It's not I've got the wrong one, it's I've not got the best one for the job. There you go, that's much better. Perfect. Perfect. So the last 2 are these 2 here. Oh, that was weird. That just fell in. It was like a magnet. Of course, there's a magnet behind the cabinet. I don't know if this will work on the same one, but did you see that? That it just fell in. That was really interesting to watch. So it makes the job so much easier. So look, there's the screw in the screw hole. That, because there's a magnet behind in the cupboard, it just pulls the screw into the screw hole properly. I've never seen anything like that before. Right, there we go, that's in. So that's the roof, we'll call that the roof, the floor, whatever you want to call it. So there's some areas, because they're not screwed down, you can lift them up. But what I'm trying to do is just see if I can pull that off anywhere where the screws are. And the answer is no. So that is definitely well screwed in. So there we go. Right, so you can tell where the back is because you've got 2 lights. Right, so that's that section done. This is hard work. Right, so the next section, push the beacon light covers onto the LEDs. Now this is a bit of a worry because I'm not overly keen on push fits. Yeah, that's not going to stay on there. That's what I suspected. So right, so I'm going to have to apply some super glue to this. So how I'm going to do this is going to be interesting. So we get a little bit of scrap plastic. I'm going to be a little bit worried about clouding up the the lenses, but I think a tiny, really thin layer of super glue is going to be the best way to do it. I don't know if PVA glue is going to do it, so I'm just applying tiny layer. We'll see if that works. That's not even doing it. Yes, it is. Right, so that's one beacon light attached. I really am applying as little glue as I can. I want just enough to stick it. Remember what I say before about applying more glue doesn't make it stick harder. It actually just makes it take longer to dry. That's not sticking. Right. Maybe if I apply glue to the base. You see there's a little lip that's going to just go round. So I'm going to... Well, you won't see the little lip really, but... Right, hopefully that'll stick. Yes, perfect. Right, so there's the two beacon lights done, and that's done quite hard. So, let's move that to there. I'm going to take this cloth away, it's actually getting in the way. I've got my little stand here. Right, so feed the beacon light cables through the channel. Oh, so I thought it didn't tell us about these channels, but it's told us about the channels now. So I've actually already done it. So if you look in there, there's a small channel. Very hard to see. In fact, that's not in quite well enough. So it's got a little cable holder. Do you know what? I'll put these tweezers down. Don't know where they're gone. Oh, I'll find another pair. Right. So just there's a little channel, and what you need to do is just push that wire into there. Can you see where the cable now disappears? That's where the cable holder is. And same again on the other side. But I have already tried to do that on when I did it earlier. I thought it didn't actually mention the cable channel, but it has done later. So this is obviously a final check. Right, so now what we need to do is take the cupboard that we've removed earlier, which is not this one, because you see where the gap is. So it's actually going to be this one. Oops. And we see we've got the little lip. The lip needs to go towards the back, and that's to give space for the wires. And then we'll just push that cupboard in, put like so. Easy, very easy. And I'm guessing the next stage, yeah, the next stage is to place the other cupboard in. Now I haven't taped that cupboard down. I can't see the point in taping it down. To untape it in a minute. So this is going to go in exactly the same way. I think I just want to pull a little bit more wire through. It just seems to be catching a little bit. There we go, that's gone in perfect. Oops, and I've just pulled. I just caught this again, look, so I'll remove that and I'll put it back on later. Right, so next, now, in an earlier issue, we had, see if I can find them. Uh-oh. There we are. Right. So in an earlier issue, I can't remember which issue it was, stage 39, we had these cable grips. So we're going to need them in this issue. So what we're going to need to do, we're going to be turning this upside down. So what we need to do is take these wires and we need to carefully, I think I'm going to be using some masking tape for this. So we need to feed these cables. I don't like this battery box cable. This black wire seems a little bit longer than the red one. So I need to just push a little bit of that underneath. But what we're essentially doing is, I think this might be the issue. Right, there we go. So that's, why have I got masking? Did I mask it? Did I tidy it down earlier on? So that needs to come through the middle. These two wires, which is the cluster and the beacon light, sorry, you can't see a thing. So they need to come down one side of the battery box and then join up, come into the middle there. And then these two needs to come down the other side of the battery box into there. So I think I'm going to be using some masking tape. I think that's going to be the easiest way to do it. So if I tape that down there, that then gives me the room I need, hopefully. So we can put this first cable, they call it a cable tie, but they're clips. I hope they're going to clip in really, really hard, because if they pop out, we're going to be in a big world of oh no. Right. Oh, they're hard to put in. Right. They're in really hard, actually. They ain't going to fall out easily. Right, so now that that's tidied up, right, I've actually pulled, I haven't pulled any of this through. Look at that, that's terrible. So I need to remove this cable box. Right. You may find it easier actually to pull one cable through at a time. Let's pull that way. Now I want to pull these as tight as I can get away with. I don't know if there's an easier way. Right, let's go back. So battery box. Let's use lots of masking tape. One piece over the other. So battery box cable there. So that's got that in place. We'll get another piece of masking tape ready. And we'll pull the cluster through, which is the fatter cable. You see there's 4 cables. We'll bring that one through like so, and we'll pull the left cable over to the right. No, hang on. There we go. Actually no, I'm going to tape that down. This is going to make sense in the end, go with me. So I'm going to tape that piece down there. Then I'm going to get the light cluster from the opposite side. It doesn't matter which way round you do this. And I'm going to place that there. And I'm going to tape that down with the masking tape. Pull this masking tape down as far as you can away from there. And I don't like that. That's not going to work either. Right, so this is the age of discovery. I think what we need to do is not cross them over. Crossing them over is creating extra width. So we actually want that to come in. Right, let's remove the battery. Sorry guys, this is just right. So let's put the battery box cable this way, out of the way. Right, so then we'll bring, yes, that's a much better idea. So I'm going to bring one of the cables down flat. It's not going to create so much height then. And I'm going to tape that down to keep it flat. Then we'll bring the other one flat on the opposite side. Making sure that these wires are clear of where the clip's going to go. Then we can bring the battery box down over the top of that, like so. If you haven't got masking tape, I reckon you'll still be able to do this. Right, so now the beacon light wants to sit one side of the battery box cable. Yeah, the reason I'm using the masking tape is it's just giving me an extra hand. If you've got like a grandson or a grandfather to help, that'll probably help do the job. Right, so, and then we can bring this one through, and that can sit the other side of the battery box. And now we will place this clip in, and hopefully that's going to work. Please work. Praying to the part work gods now. Right. That's it. That's held. Right, so what we now want to do is continue that theme down to the second clip. So we start with the two lights that will go either side of this channel, like so. Then the battery box cable, which is this one. You see, because I've got this taped down and I've got the first one clipped in, it's a lot easier to deal with. It's kind of going where I want it to go. Right, so the battery box cable goes into the middle. Then the beacon light goes to one side, like so, and then the other beacon goes to the other side. Look, we've got some nice neat cables there now. So then we get the clip, is that wrong size clip? Are they different sizes? Why is that not fitting so well? Sorry that my hand's in the way, guys. Oh. Right, that's in. So, what I'm going to do now, I've got this all in place nice and neat. So I'm going to get another piece of masking tape, and I'm going to tape that down there, because that is, I'm going to show you this. Can you see I've got that about as perfect as I can get it? So we'll keep that there. This is then optional. You can now remove this tape, and you can see the mess I've made. I'm going to cut them away, but being careful not to cut through the wires, obviously. Don't do this if you're not 100% confident. I'm confident that I can do it without cutting the wires. Might just have been easier just to leave the masking tape on. Or a lesson learnt here, maybe remove the first bit of masking tape before I apply the second, because it has made a little bit of a mess of my wires, but by pulling these down, that's not a problem. It looks like a wire miss. Oh, I see, it's gone, slipped over. Right, so now we need to apply the last one, and I think I'm going to use more masking tape here. So we take the cluster lights, like so, either side. Now this, we now join this wire, but this actually comes in below the clip, so it might be tempting to just pop that down first and then place the cluster lights over the top. And I'm going to hold that there with my finger. Then I'm going to get the power cable, battery box even, that goes along the top. Hold that down with my finger. Then the two beacon lights either side. And there we go. As long as it's all come through neatly through those two pegs there. So we can pop this in. Again, I'm sorry that my hand is going to get in the way. I will move the camera a bit, but I don't think it's going to help in all honesty. Right, so this clip is odd because it doesn't feel like it's engaged, but then all of a sudden it has. Right, so, and I'm finding the best way to test if that's in properly is to lift it up. If you can lift the whole thing up using just a clip, you know it's in pretty well. So there we go. So we've got all of this cabling has come through. That's all nice and neat. I can remove this piece of masking tape. God knows how long this video has been going on for. 40 minutes. And I'm really glad that I've decided to do this in 2 steps. So there's our assembly with our cabling. You could, I suppose, put electrical tape or masking tape down there, but I think that that's down enough. With those 3 clips, that should be absolutely fine. And we've got more work to do. So, more work coming up. So, place that there. That battery. Do you know I've actually pulled the battery box out? Believe that? Right, so place that there. Right, so the next step then is using the 2 type B screws, which are here, to finish securing the roof section in place. In the following pages you'll start attaching the 3 sections of the Aerialscope truck together. So we're actually going to be placing 2 B screws in there. One there, one there. And I wonder if it's going to be as much fun as the D type screws. No magnets. Right, so let's get this first one in. That's going in really nice. I've only put that in partially because I want to get both screws in before I get them in. Now I'm going to have to lift the camera up. I'm so sorry guys. I don't like moving the camera around mid-build, but it's going to help me put this in a lot easier. So that's gone in beautiful, and that's gone in. So again, continuing the theme, you could probably 7 screws to screw this down. You could probably have got away with about 3 or 4, maybe 4. So they do like to put too many screws in, which is always a good thing, isn't it? So just finish. That one just looked like it was raised a little bit. Right, so that's that, and that is it. I'm calling that it for stage 49. So the next section is to connect the cab, midsection and truck, which I'm going to call stage 49A. Now that was hard work, I do not mind telling you. I have been semi-complaining that it's been rather easy, and that's karma for you. They made it very hard. It's very technical. I'm having to take my glasses on and off. And bring the light down. That probably would have helped in the first place, wouldn't it? Now I will confess I've looked at the next bit, and I think this stage was quite easy compared to what we're going to do. I also have a lovely surprise for you. Again, I've looked at the instructions. I know what we're going to be up to, and I can assure you, you're going to absolutely love the next stage. So, Thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it so far. It's really coming along. Now we've got these storage containers. Do you remember I said to you before, if you don't like storage containers, you're not going to enjoy this build. But the storage containers are done now. So it's time to get on and really enjoy the build. So guys, I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you for watching.